that took way longer than it should have. Way longer. So, what happened? Of course, nobody's here, because shouldn't be streaming around this time, but, so, like, what happened, right? What happened? Let me show you. So this guy, right? This is a saxophone neck piece. This is the neck part of the saxophone. What happened was something got lodged directly into the cork part right here, right? While I was trying to clean it. So my cleaning thing, which I can show you. Let me show you, right? Looked similar to this. And this went in there, right? It went in there, and I was trying to clean it, and after I got it done, like, I tried to put it through. I was going to take it out, and I got stuck. And for the past 2 hours, 3 hours, I've been doing nothing but scraping the inside of this to try and get it out. And I was so upset. I was like, I'm not losing this saxophone. I'm not losing this saxophone. I spent my life savings on this, okay? I put it all on red, man. I'm not losing this. And somehow, and so then I had to get instead of just, I was using scissors at first, which is a stupid idea, right? So I started using scissors to crab it out, and then this, somehow, after I started using pliers, because the internet, when I looked it up on the internet on how it could help me out, right, I put this through, right, and, like, the internet, right, I typed in my problem on the internet, and some people said, you need to use pliers. And then I was like, okay, let me try using pliers. And that wasn't really working very well. And so, and I was still using the pliers a bunch, and I somehow made this go on the opposite side of this, which does not make any sense. But it worked a little bit. For whatever reason why it did that, I don't know. And then, so, I was like, oh, fuck. And I ripped my finger open. Not great. Hey everyone, what the fuck? Let me restart from the beginning, Keith. Welcome to the stream, I hope you're doing well. But let me explain, right? So, what happened? This is a tenor saxophone. Don't mind the glove. This is a tenor saxophone neck, right? And this is from the saxophone I bought recently. And I got this, right? So let me explain the whole story. Hello, Everly ASMR 7007. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Let me explain this whole story. Right. So, for the past couple of hours, I was supposed to be streaming, right? But I decided a little bit beforehand, man, I just wanted to play my saxophone just for a little bit, right? Just for a little bit. And that little bit ended up turning into a couple of hours, because when I was trying to clean my saxophone, right, I was doing fine with the bigger piece. Usually you clean 3 parts of the saxophone. You get the big body part, which, with the horn on the end of it. Then you get the neck piece, and then you have the little mouthpiece, right? So I cleaned the mouthpiece, and I cleaned the big saxophone. Now was to do the neck. And so I used something that was similar to this, except bigger, because I'm an idiot, and I put this directly into there, right? Shoved it right in there. And I tried to take it out through this end, right? It got stuck in this part with the cork. Bad, not good. Hello, Raft Jaden. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Anyways, stop spamming. So, this part got stuck in here, right? Sucks major, but major penis. Horrible thing, right? That this happened. So, basically, what I had to do, what I tried to do, I subbed, cool. Anyways, I tried to scrape it out of this thing with with scissors, because I am an idiot with a massive skill issue. And so I kept trying to scrape it, right, out. And I used another pair of scissors. And I tried grabbing it out. And that didn't work. And so I was like, well, let me try and use... what are you trying to do? Okay. So, I'm explaining a story of why it took me so long to start live streaming. So basically, this got stuck in here, in this saxophone neck piece, right? Because I was trying to clean it, and I used something too big to clean it, and it got stuck. And so what I tried doing was I tried scraping it out with scissors, because I'm an idiot. And I tried plying it out with scissors, because I'm an idiot. And so then I was like, well, this is not working very well. Let me go and try and looking it up on the internet. And some person had the same problem. And they said, well, I just use pliers. And I was like, okay, let me try and use pliers. So I put the pliers in there, and I tried ripping it out. That didn't work very well. But I kept doing it because I'm an idiot. And so then I go downstairs, and I'm like, oh, crap, I need, a fucking hammer or something. Because my idea was I was going to get, a little tiny, scissors or something like that and hammer it in. Because dumb brain, right? And so I try and find the hammer, and then then my dad comes in, and I tell him about it, and he's like, hammer's not gonna work. Now, my dad is a really talented, luthier, and he has worked with brass a little bit, but he's also worked a lot with guitars. He knows a lot more about guitars. Nice live stream. Well, thank you, Ran FT Jaden. Let me continue my story. And so, I'm having this problem with it, and he's like, that sucks. You may need a piece of wire to push it out from this side. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, and my dad's like, go ask mom for something like that, right? And so I try, and my mom just gets home, and I'm like, hey, do we have like any like clothes hangers, right? Hello, Chatter07. Welcome. 0701. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. And so, anyways, I tried. I got my mom involved with this, and I was like, okay, do we have any wired clothes hangers? Because we needed to get. Remember the saxophone piece. This was stuck in there, right? And like all wadded up, and so we needed a wire. I tried doing a wire. I wish I could be like you for one day. Like in what way? I'm just explaining this horrible thing that happened to me. Anyway, I gotta finish this story. And so, like, I put this wire directly into here, right? And it popped out this, like, cork. Or not, nothing popped out, actually. What am I saying? I tried to find, I didn't even get a wire thing. My mom said that we didn't have any, and I looked around the house for, like, a clothes hanger, right? That is wired. Because you can meld those and change those into different shapes that could possibly maybe help you get something out of the saxophone piece. And so I was like, okay, well, let me try and get a wired clothes hanger. And did not work very well. No, in fact, it did, like, there was none in the house whatsoever. There was just none. There was none there. And so I was like, well, shoot, what am I gonna do? And so I'm still dragging in at the saxophone, and I'm like, oh my god. I, like, cut my hand open because of this. And so, like, I'm digging into the saxophone mouthpiece. I'm trying to do that. And I'm like, so I go downstairs, and I'm kind of defeated. I'm like, I gotta use anything to work on this now, right? I love playing with wired hangers as a kid, making them into different things. Oh, yo, nice. And so, I tried putting, I was just kind of like downstairs using like a wooden pole because my dad told me, hey, try using a wood pole thing. Since you couldn't do you can't use like a wired hanger, right? And so I tried using the wooden pole thing, and then mom came downstairs, and I told her the situation, and she was like, oh, well, here, let me try knacking at it, right? And then she tries knacking at it, and she is like, okay, let me try and put it underneath the water. And she put it underneath the water for this part and this part, right? And, like, oh my god, it did not work whatsoever. But it was good to try. And for whatever reason, when I was using the pliers, right, and I was, like, trying to rip it out, this part, which is supposed to be, like, on this end, right, it went through the opposite direction. It went this way. And it, like, went out this part of the saxophone piece. Instead of, like, being right here. So it's like, what? Okay, I guess that works. So I tried ripping it out through there, and that didn't work. And so I was at rock bottom. I was like, fuck, there's like, how am I gonna get this out of the saxophone? And so I was like, okay, shoot, there's nothing I can do. And I like had to ask Dad, like, dude, can you help me out with this? And he's like, yeah, sure. And so he comes in. He's like, okay, so what you need to do is you need to be able to push this through this part and down. You can't just keep pushing it up that way. That's not going to get it out. And so it's like, okay. So, I tried pushing this, I kept trying pushing it this way, but I also tried, and with a different thing, and he's like, oh crap, that doesn't seem like it's working very well. Let me try using WD-40. And so we put WD-40 on this. And that worked insanely well. It started, since WD-40 is a type of lubricant, it started squishing more down through the barrel, and that was good. That was great. Today was my birthday, and I did not get anything as a gift from my parents. That's unfortunate, right? Rain FT Jaden. Happy birthday, though, bro. And so, we tried pushing it through, and oh my god. And I keep trying to push, like, it through a little bit, and then my dad comes in and he's like, okay, alright, so that doesn't seem like it's working very well with the screwdriver, pushing that down, right? So, what you're gonna need, let me get my mallet, right? And so, he found something that was the right size to fit directly into the saxophone neck, right? And so he got it just at the right size, and he used a rubber mallet, and it came right out. That's what the past 3 hours were like for me. Immense pain, suffering, just so I can save my saxophone. So that is the entire story of why it took so long for me to start a live stream. Did you crash out? I did. Because while I was working on it, right, my finger split open. I spent my life savings on my saxophone. I spent all my money on that. I didn't want to lose my saxophone. So, okay. That being said, it took me 9 months for me to get a live stream on YouTube. That's crazy, bro. But yeah, I just wanted to tell this story. And I feel like, you know, it just sucked. And that's why I wasn't able to stream today. Fucking stupid. For whatever reason in my life, I've always had, like, so I first was introduced to the tenor saxophone in senior year of high school, right? And I was in band class, and I got to be able to pick the saxophone. And I was like, oh, this is cool. I like playing the I like the saxophone sound. Let me play this. And so, it was cool for a little bit, right? Nice story you had. That story was good. That's good. Let me give you some more background with the saxophone stuff, right? Apparently I've always had a problem with my saxophones because when I tried to use, like, my normal my saxophone when I had it in band class, right, in high school, I thought it was fine, right? But for whatever reason, there's a little part on the saxophone that has like a rubber thing attached to it that I can take on and off, and if I take it off, the whole saxophone sounds an octave higher than lower. So what does that mean? That's not normal. That is a modified saxophone, and I shouldn't be using that because I'm a beginner on the saxophone. Why should I be using a modified saxophone with like that's a Rube Goldberg machine where it's like it got like many different balls and stuff attached to it? No, you don't want that, right? When you're beginning, like you're just like you go into the cockpit of an airplane, right? You have no idea what all these buttons do. You're like, okay, where's the you press that button like a red button, and then like an ice cream machine slowly, and it's like, here's your coffee, sir. And it's like that's not how you start the stupid this stupid airplane. So it's the same, like I can't do that with the saxophone, right? And so so they had to get me a new saxophone, and that one was fine. And then I graduated high school, and so then after that, right, I was like, man, I want to get back into saxophone. But I'm fucking broke. And so I wanted to get a saxophone, right? And I saved up around $100. And I was just scouring through eBay, scouring through it. And I was like, okay, man, I just need a saxophone, man. I need one in my life. I need one desperately. And I found one for $75. I bought it. I bought it off of eBay. It is an off-brand saxophone, right? And it was an alto saxophone that was not even the right key for whatever reason. It was like in a completely different key, F sharp. When tenor, like, altos are not even supposed to be in that, right? So, I got this weird saxophone, and I started trying to learn it, and then, like, as soon as, like, I played a little bit of it, I broke it. Immediately. And I was like, oh god. Brother, I can't do this, right? And so, a whole nother 2 years go by, like, after that moment. Finally, through YouTube and your guys' support, I was able to get a new saxophone. And it almost broke today. So, I'm glad that it's not broken anymore. So, I don't know what is with me and having the weird saxophones. Why am I having the horrible problems with the saxophone? I love this saxophone. I don't want to have these problems. But that's about it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Yeah. I'm gonna end stream now. I'll do another stream tomorrow, I promise. At 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I just had to explain this story.